Hello, Squirrel Squad listeners. Happy 5th of July. Happy Sunday. Hope you had a fun 4th. Mine was pretty much like any other day, except last night, boy, with the fireworks going off, and I tried to catch a few for y'all. I only got like 3 or 4, and it was in the middle. I did pin the time when the action was, and there were only like 4 that went off during that. Of course, before that and after that, they were going off everywhere. You know, that's the way it is when you get your camera out. It's all over but the shouting. But anyway, I hope y'all had fun. Barbecues and family time, and as well as you could with all this, our new normal, I guess. Okay, we got cut off yesterday, so let's try to get this finished up before we get cut off again. You see, Prince Charming is coming tonight. He came long ago, but in a foolish moment went away and wandered afar and forgot the secret of the magic pathway to the enchanted castle, where the princess was weeping her faithful heart out for him. But at last he remembered it again, and the princess is waiting still because nobody but her own dear prince could carry her off. Oh, Miss Shirley, ma'am, what is that in prose? Gasped the mystified Charlotta. Anne laughed. In prose, an old friend of Miss Lavender's is coming tonight to see her. Do you mean an old beau of hers? Demanded the literal Charlotta. That's probably what I do mean in prose, answered Anne gravely. It's Paul's father, Stephen Irving, and goodness knows what will come of it, but let us hope for the best, Charlotta. I hope that he'll marry Miss Lavender, was Charlotta's unequivocal response. Some women's intended from the start to be old maids, and I'm afraid I'm one of them, Miss Shirley, ma'am, because I've awful little patience with the men, but Miss Lavender never was. And I've been awful worried thinking what on earth she'd do when I got so big I'd have to go to Boston. There ain't any more girls in our family, and dear knows what she'd do if she got some stranger that might laugh at her pretendings and leave things lying round out of their place and not be willing to be called Charlotta the Fifth. She might get someone who wouldn't be as unlucky as me in breaking dishes, but she might get someone who wouldn't be as unlucky as me in breaking dishes, but she'd never get anyone who'd love her better. That's sweet. And the faithful little handmaiden dashed to the oven door with a sniff. They went through the form of having tea as usual that night at Echo Lodge, but nobody really ate anything. After tea, Miss Lavender went to her room and put on her new forget-me-not organdy, while Anne did her hair for her. Both were dreadfully excited, but Miss Lavender pretended to be very calm and indifferent. I must really mend that rent in the curtain tomorrow, she said anxiously, inspecting it as if it were the only thing of any importance just then. Those curtains have not worn as well as they should, considering the price I paid. Dear me, Charlotta has forgotten to dust the stair railing again. I really must speak to her about it. Anne was sitting on the porch steps when Stephen Irving came down the lane and across the garden. This is the one place where time stands still, he said, looking around him with delighted eyes. There's nothing changed about this house or garden since I was here 25 years ago. It makes me feel young again. You know, time always does stand still in an enchanted palace, said Anne seriously. It's only when the prince comes that things begin to happen. Mr. Irving smiled a little sadly into her uplifted face, all astar with its youth and promise. Sometimes the prince comes too late, he said. He did not ask Anne to translate her remark into prose like all kindred spirits. He understood. Oh, no, not if he is the real prince coming to the true princess, said Anne, shaking her red head decidedly as she opened the parlor door. When he had gone in, she shut it tightly behind him and turned to confront Charlotta the Fourth, who was in the hall, all nods and becks and wreathed smiles. "Oh, Miss Shirley, ma'am," she breathed. "I peeked from the kitchen window, and he's awful handsome and just the right age for Miss Lavender. And oh, Miss Shirley, ma'am, do you think it would be much harm to listen at the door?" "It would be dreadful, Charlotta," said Anne firmly, "so just you come away with me out of reach of temptation." I can't do anything, and it's awful to hang around just waiting," sighed Charlotta. "What if he don't propose at all? After all, Miss Shirley, ma'am, you could never be sure of them men. My older sister, Charlotta the First, thought she was engaged to one once, but it turned out he had a different opinion, and she says she'll never trust one of them again. And I heard of another case where a man thought he wanted one girl awful bad when it was really her sister he wanted all the time. When a man don't know his own mind, Miss Shirley, ma'am, how's a poor woman going to be sure of it?" "We'll go to the kitchen and clean the silver spoons," said Anne. "That's a task which won't require much thinking, fortunately, for I couldn't think tonight, and it will pass the time." It passed an hour. Then, just as Anne laid down the last shining spoon, they heard the front door shut. Both sought comfort fearfully in each other's eyes. "Oh, Miss Shirley, ma'am," gasped Charlotta, "if he's going away this early, there's nothing into it, never will be." They flew to the window. Mr. Irving had no intention of going away. He and Miss Lavender were strolling slowly down the middle path to the stone bench. "Oh, Miss Shirley, ma'am, he's got his arm around her waist," whispered Charlotta the Fourth delightedly. "He must have proposed to her, or she'd never allow it." Anne caught Charlotta the Fourth by her own plump waist and danced her around the kitchen till they were both out of breath. "Oh, Charlotta," she cried gaily, "I'm neither a prophetess nor the daughter of a prophetess, but I'm going to make a prediction. There'll be a wedding in this old stone house before the maple leaves are red. Do you want that translated into prose, Charlotta?" "No, I could understand that," said Charlotta. "A wedding ain't poetry. Why, Miss Shirley, ma'am, you're crying. What for?" "Oh, because it's all so beautiful and storybookish and romantic and sad," said Anne, winking the tears out of her eyes. "It's all perfectly lovely, but there's a little sadness mixed up into it, too, somehow." "Oh, of course there's a risk in marrying anybody," conceded Charlotta the Fourth. "But when all's said and done, Miss Shirley, ma'am, there's many a worse thing than a husband." And that's it. We were that close to being done when I got cut off yesterday. But we'll stop there, and the chapter I'll start on tomorrow is chapter 29, Poetry and Prose. Well, I hope y'all have a lovely day, and I hope you'll come today at 3 bells Eastern, whatever time that is for y'all. Live tea at 3 today. So live at tea at 3. Be there or be square. And as always, be sweet. Don't be ugly. Love y'all. Mwah. See you soon, I hope. Bye-bye.